Oh, Proline, you sneaky son of a seafaring cockroach. Good afternoon, welcome to Turbo Tortoise Tech. If you're new here, I'm Reese of the 4-piece warranty or Wooks Triple XL. And Proline is an exclusive South African brand, so I don't think you guys will see this internationally. You may see something in a similar chassis because I think they still use Clevo. I'm not sure, but yeah, this thing flipping slaps. I saw it on Uncle Evetech for 5999, and I immediately was like, bro, that's spec for what this thing costs. 8 gig RAM, Verizon 750 700U. 14.1 inch, nice slim little notebook with 256 gig SSD for 5999. I was like, bruh, there's no way that that thing is good, right? And it actually kind of is. If only I could access the BIOS, I could make it even better. But anyway, I've really fallen in love with this little laptop, and so I'm going to try and not gush too much as I go through it. It's not absolutely perfect for the spec, but I think for the price, dudes, it's really, really hard to argue against this thing at 5999. It just kind of slaps. Where most brands are putting 2-core i3s, this is an 8-core, 16-thread, full-fat Ryzen 7 processor somehow with the 610M. But anyway, we'll get to that. Let's start with what's in the box. So you get a little brick 65-watt charger, 19 volt. Should be easy to replace if it does break or anything like that, which is kind of a big plus. It's just a default, pretty decent generic sort of charger. Then we have the laptop itself. Up top, you've got over here a pinhole microphone set, so you can use those if you're in a pinch. And then it's got a little 720p webcam with a privacy filter over there. Flippin' awesome. A big plus of this laptop is the fact that it can go full flat. So you can open it up all the way, and then you can obviously use it on a very inclined sort of notebook stand with that. The keyboard is really nice on this. Power button on the top right, little indicator LEDs over there on the top left, but the keyboard itself is absolutely fantastic on this little notebook. It's got extra keys down the side for page up, page down, end, and home. So, and then a full function key set for media, and then your default controls like your brightness for your screen. The touchpad is a little bit small. It doesn't click all the way on the top over here. It's only about halfway down that it does click, but it's got a good tactile feel overall to it. The front finish and stuff is just sleek and straightforward. Absolutely love it. A big plus with this is it's not passively cooled. It actually has active cooling. So if we look at the bottom quickly, you're going to notice there's a decent amount of copper in the center, and it does have fans that will kick on when you're doing multi-threading processing. Then got 2 little holes for the speakers on the bottom side over there, and then it's got little rubberized feet on all the corners, just to, and obviously this plate, huge one up the top middle over here, just to make sure it's elevated enough off of a hard surface. Please don't use this on your bed or on your couch, I beg of you. It should be only used on hard surfaces. They actually include that in the manual, which I think is a very, very good guideline for newbies. Do not do that, because the fibers from your bed, sorry, put my mental before, the fibers from your bed will go in there, and then it will clog those fans, and then you'll be very sad because they'll have to reject your warranty. That's physical damage. You can't as a service center be expected to cover that. So don't do that to yourself. That would be very doof. Anyway, it's also got really good ports. So if we look on the left-hand side of here, it's got the battery indicator. It's got a Type-C Thunderbolt port next to that, then an HDMI, and then a USB 3.1 with the power right at the back. And then on the right-hand side, you've got an SD card reader, 2 more USB Type A's, one of them being a USB 3, the combi headphone jack, which can take 3 into 1. So if you've got mic and headset in one cable, you're sorted with that. And then just behind that, a Kensington lock as well. So it's got more ports than a Mac, or 6,000 Rand. Yeah, get wrecked, Mac. So overall, on paper, pretty flippin' awesome, right? Now, there's, as I said, the 5700U, which is an 8-core, 16-thread part, 15-watt TDP, very, very low wattage usage, something that Verizon's done an incredibly good job on, is getting that balance between the two. And on multi-threading, it was actually not bad, like 8,000 something on Cinebench. I tried a Firestrike run, and I scored way under normal because they've hard set it to 512 megs for the included GPU, which can go up to 2 gigs worth of shared memory. So if you were to upgrade this to 16 gigs of RAM and then do that, you've basically got a GT 1030 worth of mobile onboard graphics along with this, which is kind of sick. The only thing with that is I haven't been able to figure out how to get into the BIOS. Delete and F2, which are the normal defaults, didn't work. So until I can get into the BIOS, I can't confirm or deny whether that would work, but it is theoretically possible. And Proline, if you could bring out an update with that would be flipping awesome, because then with 16 gig RAM, it will play a game. It would even play League of Legends, something like that. Dota on low, CS on low. It would probably run Velo, which is not even as tough as CS. It will run games at like 50, 60 frames on low settings, but it would actually be able to do that. But I don't think you're buying that for this intent. You're buying it for that processor, which is power. For what it costs, it's exceptionally good. Most of the other brands are selling i3s at this sort of price, and they're going to come through with like a 5,000 or 6,000 score on Cinebench. It's not going to be anywhere comparable. If they even get that far, it might even be half as powerful as this on multi-threading. Then we have the networking, which isn't bad. It's just the AC750 unit. It'll get you 300 megabits up and down, and it's pretty stable. We did a long copy of about 20 gigs over to the machine, and it maintained about a 40 megabytes per second. So definitely got a decent Wi-Fi card built into it as well. Then we have a look at the battery life, and this is something that it absolutely shines on with this processor. At this size, I got just under 6 hours worth of continuous video playback. It does have a fast charge function, where in the first hour, it will go from flat to about 60% in about an hour. And then you'll be able to carry on for a couple hours after that. And then quite intelligently, it realized that I wasn't using the notebook, and then slow charged the rest of the battery, which is better for the cell's lifetime. So I'm really glad it did that on the second charge. You can see I had 2 charges over there. So yeah, it was pretty good on that. The included NVMe is not the greatest under the sun. The upgraded one that you'll get from Evetech will be a bit faster than that. Decent read speeds though. It's still a Gen 3 NVMe, so it's still not bad. The write speeds, not the greatest I've ever seen. It's also got very basic RAM. It's an 8 gig 2600 megahertz DIMM that comes in here by default, and you would obviously see a little bit of gains if you upgraded to like a 3200 mega transfer per second set. I would just increase the count of the memory, and then like I said, if we could access the BIOS and increase the video memory to 2 gig, it will play games, and that would be so cool. The only thing with this is its screen. That's the only component that might be a little bit annoying to you. The viewing angle left and right is really not bad. I actually managed to capture this on video, but up and down is a little bit of a problem. It does have that typical TN sort of blur that happens with it when you are looking at it up and down. However, you can control it via the Adrenaline software from AMD, and you can actually add saturation to the panel and control the white balance, etc. So what you could do if you wanted to use this for like maybe a little bit of design on the go is take a very flat like IPS panel and then tune it to get as close to that as humanly possible. So you could work on the go and then connect your screen when you get home and then double check kind of thing. I wouldn't suggest it's flat though on its default profile. It's going to be extremely flat in its color and a little bit over bright if anything. Overall though, at 5,999, I'm kind of in love a little bit with this little laptop. It's flipping awesome. I just wish I could gain access to that BIOS. I personally would grab one of these, slap in a 512 gig NVMe and up it to 16 gigs of RAM, and then if I could take 2 gigs of that and dedicate it to the GPU, you'd have a very, very capable little on-the-go PC. Even at the default spec, if you're just going to use it for work functions, this thing is going to slap. And did I mention how tiny it is? It weighs next to nothing. It reminds me very much of old MacBook Pro 13 inches. It's got that same kind of ethos, look, feel, build, etc. to it, and none of that is a bad thing. There's even like a little rubberized strip up top here to make sure the screen doesn't get damaged. When it was shipped, there was a film on the screen as well, just to make sure that it doesn't get damaged. The packaging was actually pretty decent. It's just this little box over here for this V146R7K. Here we go. There's a full model number for this particular unit, but it's actually, there's like really solid foam pieces on the side of it. There's just really nothing to complain about, especially at the price point. It's kind of flipping awesome. Anywho, I'm really glad that I reviewed this Proline. If you've got more stuff like this, send it over. I'm sure the lovely audience as well would be keen. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Anywho, that's all I have for you on this Proline V14 2897K.